Eat it. Oxygen. While we Hey everyone, welcome back to the Grit Files. I'm your host here, Loralyn Mears, for this podcast sponsored by Grit Daily News. And every week we bring you somebody new, something exciting. And in the house today, we've got Teresa Heath-Wareing. Now, she's got quite the story in what she's really evolved into as a businesswoman, helping other business people around the globe with their mindset moving forward and their marketing. She's got a dream business academy. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? So with that, let's welcome Teresa. Hi, Teresa.
Hey, Loralyn, thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to being here.
Well, we just love talking to people from all over the globe and hearing their stories, not only the business and efforts that they do and what trends they're seeing and how they're helping others, but a little bit about their personal backstory, right? There's always something that motivates us to move forward and push through the obstacles. So we're just going to dive in. This is the Grit Files. Talk to us about your gritty side and which you had to go through overcoming, as I know some of your story, a single mom and moving forward. Talk to us about it.
So I think the key thing, or the first thing I should say, was I was not one of those people who were like, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to manage myself. I was a very good employee. I liked being patted on the head. I liked being told I'd done a good job. And I was really risk averse. And then my life kind of got turned upside down a little bit. I'd been with my husband back then 12 years. We'd got a 4-year-old and we separated. And I was running head of marketing for an agency. I'd been in marketing my entire life and I was good at it. I loved it, but I always wanted to be employed. And it was only when that happened and I started to look at where I was and what I was doing and realized that like life's too short. Like we need to do the things that make us happy. Work wasn't quite making me as happy as I liked. So I thought, I'm going to hand in my notice. I'm going to find another job and it'll be fine. Handed in my notice, forgetting that I live in a fairly rural part of England and those jobs at those levels aren't always necessarily forthcoming. So kind of up against the wall, had to make a decision. So I thought, well, I've just brought in all this money for this agency. How hard could it be? I mean, how naive could I have been? So I started to think about, okay, I might have my own business. What does that look like? And it was almost as if the minute the thought came into my head, it somehow got transferred to my boss at the time. So she immediately told me to leave, which is totally understandable, but it left me with 1 week. So 1 week to come up with a business, to create a presence somehow. And I had a month's salary in the bag. Like that was all I had. So 1 month, I didn't have any savings. I had no partner. My parents weren't wealthy. They couldn't loan me any money. So it was really a case of, right, if you've got to do this, or if you're doing it, you've got to go all out and do it. And create a business overnight, basically. And of course, I did everything wrong. You know, I called my business THW Marketing because my initials are THW. Well, type that into Google and it thinks you spelled that wrong. So that was a nightmare. It's my ex-husband's name. So like using my ex-husband's name, I'm sure he still loves it that I use it today. Just everything wrong. I did it so quickly. I took on clients that I didn't like. I took on work that I didn't know how to do because I was scrappy and like, the hustle factor was so true and real back then because it was like, I have a mortgage to pay, I have a car payment coming out, and my daughter, who's 4, really likes to be fed. So I need to find money for all those things. So it was really like, not, I guess, what I thought going into your own business and entrepreneurship would look like. It was really kind of down and dirty.
And that's the underside that our guests that are willing to be vulnerable, and not even just guests, and conversations that I have with networking events and whatnot, where founders sort of dare to tell the truth. And it's not all like fancy cars. It's this, it's that. It's like, oh, the investors are just throwing cash my way and all of this. It's clients are just coming in everywhere. They're knocking my door down. Oh, I can't keep up. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't talk about.
And I think that's the thing. I think when you find people, and now the stage I am at my business and what I do for my business and the people I deal with, they only find you when you're at that stage. So of course, the problem is they're not seeing you when you're doing the like turning up to lives and no one's watching, or sending an email out to 3 people, or putting an offer out and no one comes near it. They don't see those things. But I think we need to talk more about it, because like you said, I think there's too many people out there from a business perspective who go, look at what I've achieved and look how amazing it is. And therefore, every other business owner, which there are millions and millions of them, tries to do something similar and they fail. And then they think it's them. And in truth, it's not. It's like the person they're following might have been that 1% lucky, or actually they were doing it for a flipping long time before they found them. They just don't talk about that backstory. And I think we're all on a journey. We're all at different stages. There's still so much I want to do, so much more I want to be seen for, so many stages I want to speak on, more money that I want to earn. But I think to be honest about the journey as you're going is so, so good.
Do you think it's a tenacity factor that most people have a decent business idea, or we'll say capacity to do marketing or coaching or these kinds of things, but it's a matter of persistence, that you've got to go knock, knock, want to buy a watch, knock, knock, want to buy a watch, right? 1,000 times before you get that first person that says, yeah, I wasn't really looking at watches. I was looking at, maybe hourglasses. What do you got? Right. Then you're like, I've got something for you.
I can do that. Honestly, that for me, when I've looked and I've, like you, we've interviewed lots of people on podcasts and had lots of conversations. That's like the main thing I can see different. Like the people who just give up because they did it 3 times and it didn't work, or, and back in the days of starting my business and I did social media and we were an agency, we were a marketing agency. And they would come to me after 3 weeks and go, yeah, this doesn't work. And it's like, yeah, no, it doesn't. That's not how this works. You've got to come back to me in 6 months and I might have a conversation with you about it. I think tenacity is one of the biggest and best skills that you can have, because every single day, without fail, something will come and either slightly nudge you off your feet, full on wipe you off your feet, or just generally just make you go, oh. And you've got to just go, okay, brush that off. Let's move on, do the next thing. Absolutely.
And that's that resilience piece too, that you tap into. Like we work with a lot of interns in the nature of my startup, and the interns are like, what do you mean I've got to do that workbook by next week? It's like, well, you have 9 days. Well, that might be a lot. I'm like, well, it's what you need to do. And they say, well, how do you balance everything? Say, well, the way that you look at it, right? You have to, because every day there's 1,000 things on fire, and it's your job as the leader to figure out which one is the raging inferno that's going to singe your face off, versus the other ones that are just burning, versus the other ones that, well, there's just a bit of smoke. Fire's coming, but not yet.
Yeah. And it is. And I think that's the other thing. There's this whole thing around, especially in the online world that I'm in, that we have online businesses. I can work from anywhere, that, hey, I could lie on a beach or whatever. I only do like 3 hours a day. That's absolute rubbish. And the word passive income, there's nothing passive about my income in the slightest. I work really hard, and yeah, I might get sales where I haven't had to have a direct sales call, or, and it'll just appear and go, hey, someone's joined the club. And you'll think, oh, that's awesome. But there's so much work that goes into it. Like you said, there's always something. I don't think I have ever since starting my business sat here and gone, not sure what to do right now. There's always a million things to be done. And like you said, it's that resilience. It's that being able to move fairly quickly from one thing to another, to be able to prioritize what's the best thing to do. One thing I do all the time is, there's a great book that talks about the British rowing team. Apparently they were terrible, and they got a new coach in, and the coach basically said, whatever you do every single day, you have to ask yourself, will it make the boat go faster? Not just while you're training, but everything. Will it make the boat go faster? And that's what I ask myself. If I'm scrolling through Instagram, is this making the boat go faster? I.e., my boat, meaning my goal. And it's like, if it's not doing it, then I need to go, yeah, no, let's put that down, put Instagram down, and get back to what you should be doing, Teresa. So it's been able to move quickly. It's been able to do what you need to do, but it's also, and being a business owner is flipping hard work, but like you've always got to have your eye on the prize and keep stepping towards it. And I tell my students all the time, I don't care how slow you go, just don't stop. Like life will always come and throw us a curveball. Something will always happen. You know, we're humans, kids get ill, people have accidents, whatever it might be. And I'm not saying that, you know, the beauty of being a business owner is that we get to hopefully manage a bit of our own time, but we can't just step off the treadmill. We can't just go, yeah, I give up on that life now. Well, I just go and deal with this. So just keep it going, just keep doing small little things to move forward, but keep going.
And that's what I love about this podcast. There's so much rich advice, and it's authentic, right? People are going through it, and it's not all like social media. Oh, here's the curated micro slice of my life. Here's me with the perfect filter. Look at me. I look 22. Yes, I've had tons of Botox and everything. No, right? Is not the case. I look my age because I don't use filters. But you hear that with all of the businesses. Yes, I'm doing mani and pedis every day and eating bonbons because the passive income's just rolling in, which is such nonsense.
Total nonsense. Like I said, there's nothing passive about it. I work incredibly hard to manage the content that I put out, to create things, to put myself out there, to manage the club and the membership I have, and to love on those people and give them time. And it's more than a full-time job. But the truth of it is, I wake up every day and I flipping love what I do. Like, there's not a single part of me that thinks, you know, I'd rather be stacking shelves somewhere. Like, literally not a single part of me. I adore it. So I don't mind working hard, but it's not passive. It's not like, you know, sitting on a beach somewhere. And the example actually I give was, and it's quite a sad example, I guess, but often when people talk about they want an online business, they think I can work from the beach. And I say to people, yeah, I get that. But the beauty of an online business is, a few years ago during COVID, actually, but not because of COVID, my mum passed away very suddenly of cancer, really sudden, didn't know it was coming. And I stepped back from the business for 2 weeks. I turned up to the stuff I absolutely had to turn up to. So for instance, if I was doing a podcast interview, it's got to be me, obviously. If we had a coaching call within the membership, that's got to be me. But because I built my business and my team, I was able to pull back and not have to do all those other things for 2 weeks, and no one noticed. Social media still went out, things still appeared, emails still carried on, but I wasn't necessarily doing it. And that's the beauty of, like, at that point, then I thought, gosh, how lucky am I to have a business like I've got, because something huge has happened. I do need to deal with it, and I need that to be able to pull away. In terms of sitting on a beach every day, that's not happening, or I'm doing it wrong.
Plus, I mean, what person, you know, in their right mind would give a founder that advice? Go sit on a beach. A, there's going to be sand, and B, there's sunblock. It's going to mess up your laptop. Come on, who could do that?
You can't even read the screen. The sun's on it.
Yeah. Come on, nonsense.
It's all rubbish. All rubbish.
Seriously. So talk to us about the Dream Business Academy then, and what you're seeing from the entrepreneurs, business owners, marketeers, and people that are around the globe, what they're dealing with and how you're helping move them forward. Like, give us some inside scoop. No names, no any of that stuff, but just tell us what's going on. Give us a bird's eye view.
I think it's really interesting how things have changed, especially in the last couple of years. So when I first started the membership, it was very much aimed at marketing. And I very quickly realized within my own business, and because of them, that, yeah, I've got a degree in marketing. I've got all these years of experience. I know what to do from a marketing point of view. However, if I told someone, you need to do a live every day for the next 10 weeks, like, is that practical? Would they want to? Are they going to sit there and literally have a face of horror as I say it because it's going live? And I realized that there's so much more to it, that you can't sort of silo marketing and go, we're just talking about marketing. So we really focus on the business, the marketing, and the mindset. So what happens often in our calls is someone will come on and ask about something. So we had one just the other day. They're launching a new product and they want to know what to price it at. And that sounds like a very practical marketing conversation. But when you start diving into it and we look at, well, who do you want to give it to, or who's your ideal customer, and therefore what's their pricing considerations, but also their confidence in pricing it. So it's not just a conversation about, well, there's this many calls, there's this course, there's this thing, oh, that goes for this price. It's like, okay, how much time do you put into it? How do you value your time? So we have huge amounts of conversations around themselves. We have some very personal conversations around, again, managing their life and their business, because the two are so intertwined. And lots of my audience are female, lots of my audience are parents, and come the school holidays, how are they managing that? So it's a really practical conversation, but also I think there's a lot of kind of mindset, a lot of, looking at ways in which we can lift them up as people, because they're on their own. Like, I have members, like a number of members, who have no support, as in they're married and their partner does not believe in them. It not only doesn't believe in them, literally actively discourages them. They have family who don't get it. Like, I have a family who don't get it. Yeah, you do too. Like, we have these things where we don't have that support. And one of my members needed to leave. She was like, the cost is getting too much and my partner's not supporting it. And I literally had to say to her, if you didn't have us, and I don't just say it to me, we're an amazing community. If you didn't have us, who would you have? And she's like, no one. And I said, and what do you think will happen to your business? And it sounds like I was doing a really hard sales job, and, I helped her out, but it wasn't if she needs to leave, she needs to leave. But I just knew this person was on their own. They were not only on their own trying to run this business, but they actively had someone almost sabotaging them. And it was like, no, you need that support. And I do think there are lots of memberships out there, lots of clubs, lots of networking, lots of online stuff. But I think you need to find your people. I think you need to find that place where, and what we offer is a safe space where there's no shame. You are able to learn at what stage you're learning at. You can make mistakes and we will all be there. We're not competitive in the sense of, we cheerlead people when they do amazingly well. And we've got some phenomenal people in there, but also no one's ever competing against each other. You're only ever, where are you right now? Where are you moving on to? And we're really careful in that stuff, because this is hard. Being a business owner is a tough thing. And I think you need those people around you. And lots of people have come from jobs where they've had a team, or they're part of a team, or a boss that tells them what to do. And then suddenly you're left to your own devices. And I just think that for me is where, that's the kind of key bit. It's the kind of bringing that community together, as well as educating them, teaching them, coaching them, giving them mindset stuff to do, and working on all those other bits.
Because it all matters. And I say this, like so many other people, I'm sure, in our audience listening to this podcast right now, we've been there, right? If I'm working till midnight because whatever deadline I'm trying to do for my business, some bid, something, and the 16 and 20-year-old stepchildren and the hubster are saying, what's for dinner? I'm like, oh my God, I've been working till midnight for days. Go in the fridge, find something, right? There's a lot of stuff that I even prepare in advance. And you think, oh my God, are you kidding me? Right. Yeah. And so you've got that place to gripe, but you've also got that place where you can talk about the different pressures and things. Like you said, those decisions. There was this founder I spoke to years ago, and what he said was, it was the day that he decided that he was either going to give up his company or do things completely differently. And the person in the office, so this is back in the office, again, as a founder, you're a startup, you've got a lot of pieces and parts, investors, this, that, and as you're starting to grow and go up that hockey stick, good things start to happen, but bad things start to happen. It gets to be overwhelming. And a person on his team said, which type of toilet paper do you want me to order, to put in? And he said, yeah. He said, I lost it. I lost it. I yelled at my guy to go away and disappear because I literally don't give a crap about what toilet paper we use, right? To wipe our messes. Like, I can't deal with this. And he said, that's it. From now on, I'm delegating everything. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm staying in my swim lane because I can't take the decisions. And I thought that was such incredible advice.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting, with all the love in the world, I mean, I am very lucky. I got remarried and I have the most supportive husband, who is probably a biggest cheerleader of me than me. And with all the love in the world, he doesn't get it. He's employed. He was in the military for 25 years, so completely different from what I do. But he doesn't get it. He tries and he sympathizes and he has conversations, but it's not the same. So when you're in a group like that, where you can go, oh my goodness, whatever, and then everyone else, because they've either done it or experienced it or know what that might be like, kind of goes, oh yeah, I get it. It just feels completely different, doesn't it? Like, whereas my husband trying really hard to go, oh, that sounds tough. And you're like, yeah, it was. Whereas when they're like, what? It's just a great, great environment.
Oh, I love it. Like, we're cut from the same cloth. I need to be a member of your club because
You
as
do.
you're saying that and you're talking about your hubster, mine has driven the same commute to the same job in the same office for
You are kidding.
32 years.
32 years.
I haven't even
How?
lived in the same country for more than 20 years at a time, let alone, I mean, I've been breathing for
Yeah.
32 years consistently. I mean, that I've
Yeah.
done for 32 years, but
that's
and he
it.
looks at me, yeah, and he's like, what's wrong with you? Right? And I look at him and go like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I
Could you
die if I
imagine?
was living
Could
your
you
life.
imagine? Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
No,
Mind
just there's
boggling,
no
right? Yeah.
way. There's no way, no way. But that's the thing, is that, like I said, even he's probably so very supportive and understanding and loving, but
Yeah.
even still, it's that someone getting it on that level. And it was so funny when you said, like, you'll be working till late. I had that a lot. Like, obviously, I deal with people from all around the world, so we do podcasts late at night, or I did an interview with Australian TV at like 9:30 the other night, and I'd be in my office and I'd literally open my door and my husband and my stepchildren and my daughter would be like, what's for dinner?
Yes.
And I'd be raging, like, can you not just put something in your mouth? Do I have to literally come and cook it? Oh, it makes me so mad, so bad.
Oh, yes. Kindred spirits here. I get it. So tell me how you've changed through this journey from that whole panic. Here you go. You've got a week, put the business plan, start going, getting some things wrong. How have you changed in this journey, Teresa?
I am completely different. Like the Teresa that started the business, that left her job, that literally everything changed. So I changed to begin with because I was working so hard and I was building my own thing. And there was this kind of pride, but also constant fear of building your own thing. Then it kind of got to a bit, whereas when it was going quite well, you then realized, okay, I need to learn, I need to be different. These are new skills that I'm doing now. And I don't have any experience of them because I've always been employed. So then I started to reach out and I got myself an amazing coach and I went to different events and I mixed with different people and I lost friends. I lost people that I'd been friends with a long time because they didn't get it and they didn't get me. And I started not to get them because my life was so different. And my family dynamic changed, as in my parents and my sisters. And because again, it was a very different world. But then I started to invest so much into me. I have done so much reading. I've done courses. I've done like coaching around personal development, around mindset. And I look at how I managed things like 7-8 years ago, and I look at how I manage them now, and I'm a completely different person. I am very much into a lot of the kind of, I dabble the kind of spiritual side. I'm not saying I'm all there, but I just find that sometimes some of these tools and some of these strategies really help. Like I remember my coach, I just started working with her. I'd had clients, and I lost 2 big clients at this one point for varying good reasons. Not like I was messing up, just one finished, one whatever. And I went on this call with her and I was like, oh my word, I've lost these clients. What am I going to do? This is awful. This is a huge amount of money. And I was freaking out. And she just sat there and said, what if this is exactly where you're meant to be? And initially I was like, what are you talking about? I've lost these clients. You're not here. And she's like, what if this is exactly where you're meant to be? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, well, just think about it. And I did. And I thought, well, regardless of whether I buy into it or not, this just feels nicer and I can't change it. So thinking, oh my goodness, I've lost these clients and stressing about it, that isn't going to change the fact that I've lost the clients. Having that happen and go, what if that is for a reason? What if, and just kind of going, oh, okay, well, let's go with that. It just felt so much nicer. And as I already said, my husband, military man, can you imagine anything a little bit spiritual? No. But even he was like, it's just a nicer way to deal with it. Like whether you believe it or not, it just feels nicer. So I think for me, all the work I've done for myself, not only has it had a huge impact on me and how I manage my business and how I look at the money coming in and how I deal with the stress of the business. I'm always so very grateful as well. Like I was saying, one of my team members is up with me at the moment, staying with me for a few days. And we went to Starbucks and I said, do you ever look at other people? Because there's loads of Uber drivers coming in and doing deliveries. I said, do you ever look at other people and think, oh my goodness, that's their job? What if that was my job? I said, I do it all the time. And I do it from a, oh my word, how lucky am I? Like, how grateful am I that I've got this job? So even when things are tough, I just try and think it could be so much worse. I could be stacking shelves. I could be doing delivery driver stuff. I could be doing all sorts of stuff, but I'm still here and I'm still doing this thing. So for me, I feel like I've changed completely in this process, which I never expected for a second.
What's your kryptonite, Teresa?
Oh, I'm too kind. I am very generous, and my husband like kicks me on a regular basis because he's like, "What are you doing? And you're doing that for free, are you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but da, 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 da." And he's like, "That's enough now." So yeah, I like to help. Can't help myself.
Oh, cut from the same cloth. Fabulous. So, how can our audience help you? How can they find out about the Dream Business Academy or
Mhm.
Teresa Heath-Wareing and find you?
Yeah, so basically you can put Teresa Heath-Wareing into Google, and luckily, unusual name, you'll find me. Go and check out the website, and there's a link there to the club. Come and have a look. There's 3 levels. So there's like a level at $19 that if you're literally just starting, because I wanted to open it up to every level because you need that. You need that support straight off the bat. There's a kind of middle level that's about 97, and then there's a level of 197. So if you're ready to kind of start to scale and grow and you need that extra support, then there's the executive club. So yeah, come and take a look and reach out to me. I'd love to meet you.
Excellent. Now, last question. If
Okay.
I could get on a plane, fly over to where you are in England, and take a look at
Mhm.
your closet, and there would be a pair of footwear in there, shoes, boots, whatever it is, that
Yeah.
personifies who you are and embodies all of your personality and represents you and your image to the world. Describe that footwear to us and why it's you.
Oh, I love that. It would be a very expensive, I'm all about luxury, very expensive, bit of a heel, glamorous, but maybe with a little bit of fun, sparkly. I say a heel. I can't, since I had my daughter 12 years ago, I can't walk in heels anymore, but I love the idea of it. Yeah, something like classically beautiful, expensive, but with an element that's like, actually, she's a bit fun. She's a bit normal. So yeah, that's what it is. That's a great question. I've never been asked that.
That is my signature question. And like you, I'm a bit of a glitter girl. And for the audience, I'm
Oh,
like, I'm
yeah,
sparkling.
I love it.
Just a
Glitter on
hint, a little
everything.
class, but just a little,
Yeah,
little,
exactly. It
yeah.
looked very classy, but when you moved it, bit of lovely glitter. I love it.
Well, there you go. So, with that, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on our show. And for all of the listeners, take a look, go find Teresa Heath-Wareing, the Dream Business Club, find out how to get plugged in and talk to other founders about what they're going through, like having to make dinner at midnight when your adult children are fully capable of feeding themselves, but somehow can't. So, we can have all those conversations. Teresa, thank you so much and all the best of luck.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Don't forget to follow Grit Daily News as well as me, your host, Loralyn Mears, everywhere on social media. And how about throwing 4 or 5 stars our way if you're listening to Apple or Spotify? Subscribe to our show.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?